Hey guys, it's me again. I'm here to bring you another round of Bloons Battles, and this time I'm going to teach you guys how to do defensive mode. There's a lot of people out there who want to do defensive mode but have no idea how it works. And I know this because I see YouTubers all the time trying it, and they fail within the first couple of rounds. And even when I'm playing people, it doesn't matter what their score is, how many wins, losses, how many darts they have. Some are rather terrible at defensive mode. They only last a couple of rounds. Some are rather good. So there's two basic types of starts that I know of, and there's the Dart Monkey start, there's the Engineer start. I've also seen the Submarine, but I'm not very good at it myself yet. But with a little more practice, I'll bring you guys that one a little later. Right now, I want to give you just the basics. So the first one I'm doing here is the Dart Monkey start. And one thing to keep in mind is energy equals money in this. So as much energy as you're willing to spend on those road spikes is going to boost your income. Because you're going to avoid using towers as much as possible for the first couple of rounds, until you absolutely have to get towers out. So you can see it's round 3 here, and I'm just getting a Dart Monkey out. Now, in defensive mode, the only way to get income besides getting a farm, and the farms are actually useless. I see people doing it all the time, and they just get overwhelmed so quickly. But the only way to get money is to sacrifice money for more money every, I call them ticks, but every time you get income. So eco, income, balloon eco, whatever you want to call it, it's your money every 6 seconds. So you're sacrificing. In my case, I always go for the 1,000. And the reason for that is you get a lot more for that 1,000. When you spend 1,000, you get 70 back. When you spend 300, you're only getting 15 back. When you spend 50, you're only getting 2 back. So, if you use the 1,000s, that's equal to, in assault mode, sending blacks or pinks. So, you really want to go for the highest stuff possible without burning your money. Because if you think about that, you could spend 300s for the 1,000, and you'd get 45 instead of 70. So, it's very important to put off using those towers as long as possible, because at the first beginning of the game, you have a huge amount of money. You've got, I think it's 700, so you only have 50 income though. So you want to put it off until that first 1,000. So throw some tax down, let them take your lives, I don't care, but you've got to get that 1,000 right away, because it'll more than double your income. So, here I am, round 8, I'm just putting the second Dart Monkey down. So you want to avoid putting towers down as much as possible during the first 10 rounds. You want to boost your income using those 1,000s, but you don't want to lose too many lives in the process. So, more often than not, the best strategy is get the first 1,000, drop a Dart Monkey, try to get it up to 0-3. Once you're up to 0-3, get the second 1,000. After the second 1,000, throw another Dart Monkey down, get it up to 0-3, and then boost your income up to round 11. Round 10 or 11, you should be up to about assault mode income, the very beginning of assault mode's income, which is 250. You can see on my screen it's 260 now. So this is where your strategy is going to begin at round 10 and 11. You're going to go with whatever towers that you like, but keep in mind, defensive mode is all about survival. You're going to get pummeled with a lot of balloons very quickly. So the first things that you should be worried about is AoE towers getting a lot of area damage. So apprentices, bomb towers, what do you call those things? Can't even remember their name now. Oh well, I'll come back to that. You just want to get some big bursts, get rid of a lot of balloons quickly. So, the next thing you're going to be worried about is camo balloons. Because round 17, there's going to be a whole lot of camos, and everything after that's going to have a few camos. Round 23 is going to have ceramics and camos, so you want to have a good amount of AoE damage, you want to have a good amount of camo detect. After that, you want to worry about Moabs, because they're going to come, they're going to kick your butt. So, round 17, the enemy has literally no camo detect whatsoever. He's got engineers, he's got a buccaneer, but he has no camo detect on this. He should be selling something to get that camo detect, but he lets it all go. So he's almost dead at this point. So this is, again, I don't think he's played much defensive. He started out putting 2 towers with the money he had, so he's probably got terrible income. This is where he's going to go down. Round 18, he just couldn't stand the AoE balloons. So there's our victory. So we'll go for one more game, and I'll show you the Engineer start. The Engineer start is a lot like the Dart Monkey start, but the Engineers have a lot more popping power. So a 0-0 Engineer can almost stand on the same pedestal as a 0-3 Dart Monkey. So it costs a little bit more, you're going to need to use a couple more attacks at the beginning, or let a few lives go. Personally, I prefer letting a few lives go and just hoping I can make it through the rest off of skill. But the 0-0 Engineer is powerful. I must say he's powerful. He fires fast, and he does piercing right off the bat. So once you get his tower upgrades, and you start getting those sentry guns out, then he's more powerful than the 0-3. And that's really a really good start on defensive mode. But, as I said, because it's more expensive, it's harder to pull off. So there's our first 1,000, and as you can see, it more than doubles our income. So now we've got 120 every 6 seconds or so. So, with the Engineer at 450, yeah, I only put out 3 attacks, so I'm going to lose a few lives before this Engineer actually gets up and running. So there I can afford the Engineer, and my tax just ran out, so he's not going to make it for those first couple of lives. So I'm just letting him go. The enemy is doing a very similar strategy, but he's putting a lot more time into his income. As you can see, he's got a Dart Monkey now, which by this point I would have a 0-3 Dart Monkey, and he's just got it right now. So he's spending a lot more time on his income than I normally would. But he's got a whole lot more tax. He's wasting a lot of energy to get this done. So we'll just have to see how his strategy is going to come out here. Could be the same as my last one for all we know. He could just be a little slower doing it. So you want to let a few rounds go. You want to get that next 1,000 before you even worry about the next sentry gun. So once you've got the 2,000s off on your first 2 incomes, that's when you're going to really worry about upgrading your Engineer to get that sentry gun. And that actually gives you 2 to 3 sentry guns at a time, because the 3rd sentry gun is going to disappear, and there'll be a couple of seconds before it reappears. That changes later on when you get the upgrades, the sentries again, but you want to keep working towards that 1,000 income as it's becoming available. As you can see on the screen right now, there is a cooldown for how often you can get these income boosts. If you spend the 50 or the 300, early game, you're not going to be able to get those fast enough. the cooldown will wear off very quickly. But the 1000 has a 42-second cooldown. And like I said before, I don't even want you thinking about the 50 and the 300 unless it's absolutely necessary. And in which case you want to do the 300 only, and only for the first couple of rounds. After that, it's pointless. So, just focus on the 1000s, don't worry about anything else. And now, round 10, I'm starting to get some AoE, some camo up here. Like I said, once you get to round 10, by using this strategy, you are basically into assault mode. You build your defenses the same way you would in assault mode, unless you're a rusher. If you're somebody who doesn't really build up a defense normally and you just go to rush people, that's where this is going to be a little more difficult to get used to, because you're going to want to build up as much defense, as much AoE as possible. So, he's pretty much copying my last strategy, isn't he? He's got 2 dart monkeys on 0-3, and he's got an apprentice tower, a wizard, or whatever you want to call them these days. But he doesn't have his lightning out yet, which is one of the most important things an apprentice can get. I don't have it either. I kind of put it off to one of my last things too, so I have no room to talk. So again, camo AoE is the first thing you want to do. I just got my camo detect on the wizard. That'll last me a couple of rounds. That'll get me past round 17 at least. But I'm kind of hurting on the AoE, so I'm going to get a couple of bomb towers set up here. And I'm going to get them up to barrage. I want this place completely covered with explosions, if you know what I mean. And he's letting a couple of them go on his side. He's got lots of towers that can camo detect, but he doesn't have it on his apprentice. He's simply working with two dart monkeys that have it. That's it. But the one apprentice monkey that I have took out all those balloons. That lightning is so powerful. So again, this comes back to quality over quantity. We're up to round 18. I've got 3 towers, and since the engineer went up, I haven't lost a single life. So he's got 4 dart monkeys out. Dart monkeys are great early on, but you really don't want to focus on them. You don't want to rely on dart monkeys, because they will let you down. They really will. Once you get into Moabs and BFBs and ZOMGs, they're going to let you down very quickly. You just have to put so many down, and they take up too much room and don't give you enough damage. So, what are we? Round 20. So here comes the leads. On this round, you want to have some lead popping power. My lightning's going to do that, so we're all set. Now that I have 2 AoE bomb towers, this whole place is just going to be covered with explosions. The engineer's going to take care of all the blacks, pop them down so that the bomb towers can take care of them. So our sentry guns, our engineer, our lightning, our bomb towers, that's a whole lot of damage all over the place. Round 22 is where the real question comes in, because round 22 is ceramics, and you really find out if you've got enough damage at that point, because once those ceramics pop, you have to deal with all the balloons that come out of them, and that's only if you can pop them. Looking at his defense, I don't think he's going to be able to pop them. All those dart monkeys, I don't think he's going to get through them. He's starting to get through them, but he's not getting those balloons down either. So he's lost a lot of lives because of those ceramics. And the next level is even worse, because you're going to have ceramics, you're going to have camo, you're going to have a huge rush of everything. You really find out if your defense is good enough for building up Moabs if you can get through round 23. So this is the beginning of round 23. It's only got a couple of balloons here and there, but it's the end of 23. It's a long round, and that ending, oh boy. You ever wonder about an ending for a fireworks show being big and beautiful and all that wonderful stuff? The ending of 23 is the fireworks show. The ending to the fireworks show. If you can get through that, you can pretty much make it up to the Moabs. Whether you can make it through Moabs or not, that's completely up to you. So as you can see, I'm still spending the 1,000 every time it comes up. There's the ceramics, there's the camos. I'm able to handle them. It doesn't look like he is. Those camos just ran right through while he was dealing with the ceramics. So that's the end. Hopefully this gave you a good idea of how to do defensive mode. Leave a like on the video if you like this content, if it helped you. Until then, I'll see you next time, guys.